Hello everyone and welcome to my League One predictions video. Now I know the season started yesterday, or whenever you're watching this the season has already started, but I wanted to wait until the opening day results had come out so I could watch some highlights, get a bit more of an idea of where I think everybody will finish in the League One table this season. First of all, before we get into the video, I would just like to say, whoever you support, please don't get offended about where I put your team. Obviously, this is just my basic opinion, and obviously I'm biased as I support a team in this league. But I reckon I've got a decent idea of where everyone's going to finish, so hope you guys enjoy. Be sure to leave a like and let's get on into the video. Fourth place we have Bury. Now Bury are in a lot of trouble financially, I believe, and also they have the minus 12 deduction for the start of the season. They haven't been able to field teams for their first two games, and both games have been postponed. So obviously I've got to put Bury at the bottom of the league. It's really upsetting to see two teams in this division starting on minus 12. As a fan of a team that has struggled in Coventry and is still struggling, I have my utmost respect for Bury fans, Bolton fans, and I will support them through the time that they're going through at the minute. But I've got to put Bury in 24th position, so they're the first team to be relegated if they're even a club by the end of the season. In 23rd position, we've got another of the struggling teams, it's Bolton. As I said before, they've also got a minus 12 point deduction. They're probably going to get more deductions from not fielding a team last season against Brentford. Opening day of the season, they lost to Wycombe 2-0. They only had 3 or 4 first team actual senior players in their squad, so I just don't think they can stay up. I don't think they've got the squad depth. They've got now, a week or so to sign people, and that's if they can afford to sign anybody decent for this division. So unfortunately, I've got Bolton to finish 23rd in the league and also be relegated. And like I said, both Bolton and Bury, as a fan of football who's seen their club struggle, Bolton and Bury fans, I wish your club all the best, and I hope you get through this situation. In 22nd position, I have got AFC Wimbeldon. Now they lost on the opening day. Obviously, opening day results are nothing to go by, but I'm using this as a slight indication of how some teams are going to do this year. But Wimbeldon did lose, and I just don't think that they've got anywhere near a good enough squad to stay up this season. They narrowly avoided going down last year. I don't think they've got goals in their side, and defensively I just don't think they're good enough either. So they're quite a small club in this division, obviously due to the fact that they didn't go out of business due to the fact that their club was, and I'll say it, their club was stolen. But again, Wimbledon fans have my respect. They're a brilliant club. It's so good to see them in League One again. But unfortunately, I think Wimbledon will go back down to League Two. In 21st place, we've got newly promoted Tranmere Rovers. Tranmere is in a way that I'm very much looking forward to this year. I wasn't actually expecting them to come up. I didn't think that they were good enough to come up. It was a great achievement for them to come up from the National League and get promoted straight into League One. But they've lost the big striker, James Norwood, who scored so many goals for them last year in League Two. And personally, I don't think they've got enough threat to score goals in this division. I think they will go down this year. Obviously, Connor Jennings and Jordan Ponticelli will add some goals. They signed him on loan from Coventry. But all in all, I just don't think the squad that they've got is able to cause enough problems in this division. And sadly, I think Tranmere Rovers will be another team that gets relegated this season. 20th place, I've got Southend United. I saw Coventry beat Southend 1-0 yesterday. And in attack, defence and midfield, they just looked all over the place. They looked better in attack in the second half when Humphreys came off the bench. So they're going to have to rely on him to score some goals to keep them up this season. Defensively and in midfield, they looked all over the place. Passes were just being hit out of play constantly. I just don't think Southend have got anything in their squad that looks a threat to teams in this division. So sadly, I'm going to have to put once again Southend in 20th position. But Southend fans, what do you think? Let me know. 19th place, and another side I've got nailed on to struggle this year is Accrington Stanley. A side whose budget is very low for this division as they are quite a small club. I think Accrington will just struggle in the division. The signings they've made over the summer, I've had a look. I don't think the signings they've made are very good. Obviously, like I said, the budget they've got is very, very small. It's amazing for a club the size of Accrington to be in this division, but Accrington fans, I can see you just staying up this year and having another season in League One, but you need some improvement in your signings, I think, if you're to build up and move up the divisions. In 18th place we have another newly promoted side, and it's MK Dons, a club I don't particularly like just because of the fact of what happened with Wimbledon, but MK Dons are going to finish 18th in my opinion. Again, I'm not too sure about some of the signings they've made, and I just don't think the signings they've made are good enough for this division, so I can see MK Dons struggling. They are a big club, they've got a decent sized stadium, so really they should be pushing to move up the league in the next few years, but MK Dons, like I said, I don't like the club at the minute. In 17th place we've got Bristol Rovers. The reason I've put Bristol this low is because I feel a lot of their threat in this division relies on JCH, and they rely quite heavily on Jonson Clark-Harris. He missed yesterday through injury and they lost yesterday to Blackpool, so I feel like Bristol are very heavily reliant on him. So without his goals, they could see themselves drop down. He had a very, very good back end of last season when he signed for them. So, like I said, if he scores goals, they'll move up the table quite quickly and prove my prediction wrong. But if he has as poor a season as he did when I witnessed him at Coventry, then I feel that they will struggle this year. In 16th place, we've got Wycombe Wanderers, a side that I think is, again, a little bit too small for this division, but Wycombe have really impressed me during the summer with their transfer business. The signings they've made have been very, very good. Once again, another signing that I know is Jack Grimmer from their sign Coventry let him go. That is a very good signing at this division, so I feel like he'll add much needed quality to their defence. I saw they sign Fred Onyedinma, who is again a very, very good player at this level. So Wycombe are clearly making moves in the transfer window and looking to improve their squad. They started off yesterday with a 2-0 win over Bolton, but I think a lot of teams will pick up points against Bolton this year. But they started as they mean to go on Wycombe, so I can see them finishing just about mid-table this season. In 15th place, we've got Gillingham. Gillingham have lost Tom Eaves, who scored a lot of their goals last season. They also have manager Steve Evans, who I don't particularly rate as a manager. I don't think he's very good. So I can see Gillingham finishing mid-table this year. Like I said, they've got to make up for the goals that Tom Eaves would have provided had he stayed. And the Gills, I just don't see them with any threat in this division. So mid-table for Gillingham this year. 14th place, we've got Rochdale. Rochdale had a poor back end of last season, so I can see them just about finishing mid-table again this year. Again, I don't look at their squad and see much stuff to worry about in the squad. Obviously, you never know. Teams could string together performances and go on a winning run. But Rochdale, I feel like they will just about see themselves sliding up and down the table. Maybe they could be, with injuries and stuff, they could be forced into a relegation fight. But I think it'll be mid-table obscurity for Rochdale this season. 13th place, I've got Shrewsbury Town. I've put a lot of this on the fact that they beat Portsmouth 1-0 yesterday, which is a good result. They've signed some decent players this year, which will add a lot of threat to them. But Shrewsbury, they finished 18th last year, so they need to improve on that massively and not be dragged into that bottom half of the table. But, like I said, I'm backing Shrewsbury to finish 13th this season. In 12th place, I've got Burton Albion. The reason I've put Burton this low down in the table is because they have just let so many of their key players from last season go. They sold Marcus Harness to Portsmouth, they let Carl McFadden and Jamie Allen both join Coventry, so I think Burton just looked too weak. They lost yesterday, so like I said, they've lost major players. They've still kept Lucas Akins, who's a big player for them and has been for several years, but I think Burton are going to struggle this year. Losing key players and not replacing them is not something you want to be doing when you're trying to move up the divisions. In 11th place, I've got Doncaster Rovers. Doncaster, again, I've put them this low due to sales of key players and no replacements being brought in as of yet. They obviously sold John Marquis, and they also lost other key players like Malik Wilkes, who added a lot of goals to them last year, which saw them finish 6th in the playoffs. So they were knocked out of the playoffs by Charlton, who subsequently went on to win it. But I just see Doncaster slipping down the table and just having a poor season really this year. So, Doncaster fans, are you disappointed with the sale of Marquis? Let me know. In 10th place, I have got Blackpool. Now, the top 10 are teams that I can see being there or thereabouts with the playoffs and stuff. So the top 10, and Blackpool in 10th position, fresh from new owners coming in. They obviously have made some decent signings, a lot of them free transfers and players from League 2, but those are the players that have the chance to prove themselves in a higher league now. They started off with a 2-0 win against Bristol Rovers yesterday, so they've started the season well. and they'll look to push higher than 10th, but we'll see where they end up. 9th place, I've got Fleetwood Town. Fleetwood are another side that started the season off with a win. They ran out 3-1 winners yesterday. So Fleetwood, I think, will cause some problems in the division this year. They've got very, very good attackers in their side. They've made some very good signings in the off-season, and they're going to improve from their 11th place finish from the last season. They could even sneak into the playoffs, but who knows. 8th place, I have got Oxford United. Oxford, again, are another side that has impressed me with their transfer business over the summer. Signing of Ben Woodburn and also Tariq Fosu are both very good signings. Fosu scoring yesterday. Oxford are a side that are going to compete in the table this year, and their squad overall is very, very nice and has a lot of threat in it. So I can see Oxford definitely being just outside the playoffs this season and pushing maybe for that playoff place next season. 7th place, I have got Lincoln, another newly promoted side. Lincoln are going to have a very, very good season this year, I think. They started off with a win on the opening day of the season. They've got a very, very good side. They know how to play football. I really rate Danny Cowley as a manager. I think he definitely knows what he's doing. They've signed Tyler Walker, who is a very good acquisition for this division. They've also got Jorge Grant, who knows where the back of the net is for definite and is very, very good at making stuff happen on the pitch. So overall, Lincoln have a very good side, and I think they could even end up in the playoffs this year. Now in 6th place, and the first side to finish in the playoffs is Peterborough. I think Peterborough's squad looks very, very good for this division. Obviously, keeping Marcus Maddison so far has been a great thing for the club. They've also got Mo Issa and also George Boyd back in, who is someone that will definitely add a lot to their game this year. Overall, Peterborough's squad looks very, very good in attack, defence, in everything really. So I think Peterborough will definitely finish in the playoffs this year, if not finish higher up the table and push for that automatic promotion spot. In 5th place, and it's probably the most disliked club in this division, it's Sunderland. Now, I don't like Sunderland very much, but you can't deny the fact they're a big club and they're definitely underachieving by being in this division. It's only a matter of time before Sunderland do get out this division, but I can only see them finishing in the playoffs again this year. Their squad, I just don't think it has as much talent as some of the other teams in the division do. I think in the transfer window they could have done a lot better than they have done so far. Obviously they've got a lot more room to manoeuvre than other clubs with their budget, and their pulling power of players is amazing. Obviously the training ground, the stadium, everything is a lot better off than some of the teams in this division. But I think it's going to be 5th place for Sunderland, and they're going to have to push to try and go up through the playoffs again to get back into the Championship, to start pushing up to be back where they belong in the Premier League. Because as I said, they are way too big a club for this division. In 4th place, I've got Coventry City, my club. Obviously, having to play away from our city, having to play in Birmingham, is going to be detrimental because there's not going to be as many fans as there would be at the Rico and stuff. But Rico talks could potentially still happen. We could still end up back at the Rico during the season, which would obviously see a big boost in support for the players and stuff. But in the transfer window, we have made some decent signings and do look quite good defensively. There were some shaky moments yesterday in the opening game of the season, but started off with a win, so that's always very, very good. And we just need that striker, I feel, to be really pushing on and push for those automatics. But I can see 4th place for Coventry this year. And in 3rd place, and in my opinion, just missing out on the automatic promotion spot, is newly relegated Rotheram. Rotheram are one of those teams that seem to just yo-yo between the Championship and League One. But they've got a good squad. Freddie Ladapo is a great signing. He opened his account yesterday in the first game of the season. So I feel like Rotheram are going to score some goals. They're going to win some games this season, and they're going to be up there at the top of the table this year, if not pushing for that automatic promotion space. In 2nd place, I've got Portsmouth, a club that, again, I would say is way too big for this division. They've made some very, very good acquisitions in the transfer window. They've signed Marquis, who I think is one of the best strikers in this division. He will definitely add goals to their game. They've lost Jamal Lowe, which is a big hit, but if they replace him in the next coming days, they will definitely see themselves up there. Ronan Curtis, again, is a player that is very, very good for this division. Overall, they've got a very, very good squad. So I can see Portsmouth finishing in 2nd place. They didn't start well yesterday with a surprise loss, but overall, Portsmouth are definitely going to be up there looking for that that title or that automatic promotion spot this year to get them up into the Championship, where they can then progress as a club. In first place, and our Sky Bet League One champions for the season, is recently relegated Ipswich. They obviously finished in 24th place in the Championship last year, so they'll obviously be looking to bounce straight back and get back up into the Championship, where again they belong. The Tractor Boys are way too big a club for this division, so their budget should help them get out of this division. They signed James Norwood from Tranmere, whose goals last year saw Tranmere promoted, and if he replicates that form for Ipswich, it will surely see them finish definitely in the playoffs at least this year. They've got the stature problem. Big teams are going to want to go there and cause an upset. The small teams are going to want to get points against the big teams, so they're obviously going to put men behind the ball, which could be a problem for Ipswich in this season. But overall, Ipswich should have the quality in their squad with Alan Judge. Like I said, they've got players that are Championship quality. So Ipswich Town should be finishing top of this division this year. Anyway guys, that concludes the video. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and let me know what you think prediction wise the league is going to look like in the comments down below. Leave a like and subscribe if you're new around here,